There is a quiet revolution coming to the American dashboard. Not under the hood, not in the engine, not even in the battery. It is coming through the camera pointed at your face, the sensor watching your eyes, the software judging whether you are fit to drive. Buried inside the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, Section 24220, is a mandate for advanced drunk and impaired driving prevention technology in new passenger vehicles. The goal sounds noble, and on paper, it is. But here is where the story turns. The law calls for technology that can passively monitor a driver, detect impairment, and prevent or limit vehicle operation if impairment is detected. That could mean alcohol sensors, it can mean driver monitoring cameras, it could mean systems watching eye movement, facial behavior, lane position, or physical indicators. Supporters say this could save thousands of lives. The Insurance Institute for Highway Safety estimated alcohol detection systems could save more than 9,000 lives a year if widely deployed. So tonight, the question is not simple. Nobody wants drunk drivers on the road. Nobody wants another family erased by a person who should have handed over the keys. But what happens when the car becomes judge, witness, and jailer? What happens when your vehicle does not just take you somewhere, it evaluates you before it lets you leave? This is the promise and the problem of impairment technology. A future sold as protection, built on detection, and waiting for us in the driver's seat. And as always, the question is not whether the machine can save us. The question is, who controls the machine once it can stop us?
Welcome to the Retrospect podcast, a show where people come together from different walks of life and discuss a topic from their generation's perspective. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by Stoney.
Hello.
And Jason.
Hello, everyone.
First off,
I was going to sneeze there for a second.
I would just like to call bullshit.
Oh.
Because it has nothing to do with drunk driving.
Well,
absolutely nothing to do with drunk driving, because many people exhibit forms of drunk driving. Man getting in the car, wanting to drive his pregnant wife to the hospital. Or can you imagine Miranda, the day of my accident, getting in her car and having to run to the hospital? I call bullshit. This is a fear tactic. And they're going to, no, they're, 6,000 lives. Okay. I tell you what, there's already been 13,000 deaths in America due to illegal immigrants. How about we don't do something with that? That's twice as many deaths as drunk drivers cause.
Okay.
How about we do something about that?
But who's to say that the computer's not smart enough to differentiate the fact that you are upset and frustrated and panicking?
It's not.
You don't know that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I did the research.
Well,
yes,
I'm glad you
that.
did. I'm glad you
did.
And do you have this technology in your vehicles?
It will be next year.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah, that's the law. It will be. It's mandated by the government that it's in every vehicle made after, what is it, 2020? June 2027.
Yeah. I know that's where they're saying it's going to be mandated. I've saw some stuff that I don't think they're ready yet. I really don't.
They're not even
close.
They're
ready yet
but they don't care.
So.
They want it in your vehicle so that they can shut you down at a minute's notice.
They could shut you down if you are drunk. I do believe. I mean, like I said, I haven't done all the research for this like you have apparently, but there are people in my life that I have known, that I will not name any names, that have decided to get behind a wheel when they were impaired, and there was nothing I could have done to have stopped them. And if their car would have stopped them, I think that would have been really great. I don't think they harmed anybody whenever they did that, but I have been firsthand. I like to see that and wish that I would have had some way to physically stop them, without trying. Well, I mean, I could have gotten the police involved, but at that time I didn't feel it.
I think what you're seeing right there is the reactions based upon generation and from older people who cars were looked at a little differently. Mm-hmm. And as just simply a tool, they've kind of evolved now into something completely different.
I do think there are people that I think have the ability to drive a car that should not have the ability to drive a car.
Well, I would agree.
Especially
with you totally.
especially people that I think are in that older bracket that have not like done some sort of reevaluation for their like their safety and security on like the road, and then just you're dealing with outdated thinking from whenever they used to go to driving school once upon a time. And like I feel like even though this is also like a hot take that no one would like, I do feel like every like 5 to 10 years we should like reevaluate people's effectiveness of driving. And if you're not good enough, you should have your license revoked. I feel like.
Yeah, but you see, that in itself is a fallacy.
Okay.
Because I wish we had somebody here in law enforcement who could tell us the differences, if there are any, between somebody who's drunk and somebody who's on their phone. And actually, it's proven through research that the person on their phone is paying less attention to the road than the drunk person.
Okay.
And so there are a lot of people who shouldn't be on the road,
You're
like
right.
people with phones
You're right.
and everything else. But my point is, this has nothing to do. This is a fear tactic. Oh, everybody, if you're not for this, you're for drunk driving. No, that's not what I'm saying. Come out with something that works, and then don't have all the bullshit small print in here, because you haven't looked at the small print. That's where you got to get into it. It's the small print that's going to get you.
Well,
and the small print's right here on my page if anybody wants to see it.
This bill that was passed, it has survived now 2 administrations, because this, as I said, this was buried in the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act in 2021 under Joe Biden, and then under the Trump administration, it was authorized. There was an attempt by the now primaried Thomas Massey. He introduced an amendment to kill this, and it got defeated overwhelmingly.
Of course, because like what you look at it on paper, it's
And
if you say no to that, you're the bad guy.
He tried, and it killed it. So I think this is here to stay. I think you're seeing the automotive world beginning to change. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts today regarding this issue, and I never really knew the extent to which things could change rapidly. From somebody who just bought a brand new car.
Yes.
I was seeing some things that now, even in my car, this technology exists. And I'll tell you a story that happened to me this morning. I'm driving to work. Somehow I got distracted in a car.
Yeah.
Made a right turn into a business.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I just didn't detect it.
Yeah.
The car did.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
auto braking has been a
brakes.
thing for a while.
And so I in that sense, I think it's a good thing. But this idea, I mean, look, there's always been talk of how do you stop impaired people from operating vehicles. That conversation has been going on a long time,
but we also have what they haven't done is define impaired.
Well, I mean, in the case with drunk driving, I mean, there's legal limits of where you're considered impaired or not, and then there's other factors involved. But I think the solutions that have been utilized for like someone convicted of DWI or DUI, however you use it, but they'll put in like breathalyzer systems in cars, which is a technology that's been here for a while now. So but you see, for that, I love that. But that's going through that. I think where people are saying is like, but that has gone through due process, and that the rights of the individual has been respected. That's
exactly where I was going to go.
Has been respected, and this is the consequence. You've been found guilty.
If you've been found guilty, and this is something you want to put in that, but that's what they're saying. They're not going to retrofit cars. This is all new cars coming out. But then here's the thing. What about my rights? Okay, they've decided on a couple of things, but there's a list of things that aren't decided that give me the heebie-jeebies. This is still undecided, the exact technical standard. It's kind of like the expression, the Democrats, It's a lie. They say they can't tell the difference between a man and a woman, but that's not true. You know how I can prove it? Because Joe Biden never tried to sniff Adam Schiff's hair. Okay? So when you look at the exact technical standard has not been decided. Whether the final rule favors alcohol sensors, driver monitoring systems, vehicle behavior analysis, which is where AI comes into it, or a combination. What false positive and what the false negative thresholds are. Whether actually driver-facing cameras are necessary. And here's the big one. This is where they're going to get you. Whether data must remain local inside the vehicle, and whether consumers can disable, limit, appeal, or override any part of the system. Those are the things.
There'll always be an override.
Yeah, I totally agree. But okay, those things right there, they're going to put it in, and they haven't decided any number of those things. That's dangerous. Because we know now from the insurance companies that they've been putting this stuff in vehicles, and you can plug this into your OB2 sensor, and it'll say what kind of driver you are. They're not going to drop the insurance rates because of this, but if they can prove you're at fault, then they're not going to cover yours. But they're not going to drop it for the safe drivers, are they? Okay, so it's bad information again.
I think a lot of this too is I wonder, I don't know if cars specifically have end user license agreements, EULAs. I know, consumer technology.
That's coming.
I know. But what I'm saying is, I wouldn't be surprised if by you owning the car, you already have signed over those rights that you keep talking about.
That's what I'm saying. That
by owning that vehicle,
yep.
You don't have. Again, you can try to dispute that, but it's going to be arbitration.
That's a scary. That's a scary future, because I think you all see it in everything else dealing with your phones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is subscription based.
Your TVs. Think about your TVs. Nobody even knew how badly the TVs are recording you.
You know, for all intents and purposes, cars have gotten to a point where independent mechanics can't really work on them anymore, because the software systems that run all these things are so integrated with the vehicle. You either got to go. You got to go to the dealership.
Yeah. Does anybody remember that big class action lawsuit against John Deere a couple of years ago?
Was it 2015?
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it was after. Maybe it was. It was just a few years ago. But only a John Deere mechanic had the technology to work on a John Deere tractor
At $200 an hour.
Or more. Yeah. And so they were actually sued to put that information in, not, I guess, regular tractor mechanics' hands.
Excuse me. I think in that case, the farmer tried to do a software update while his tractor, and unfortunately, it got caught in a loop.
Yeah,
and it basically shut the tractor down while it was in season to harvest.
Of course, yeah.
I think he claimed $80,000 in losses. But you have to wait. You got to call John. You got to call a technician out. He may not be able to get out there for a couple days. Then you don't know how long it's going to take for him to. The whole time your crops are dying.
That's right. Because in any field like farming or construction or something like that, you know how to work on your own stuff because you can't wait for somebody. That was the exact big deal about that. He can't wait.
Yeah, if you're in a case, I've got to get this stuff plowed up and I got to get this stuff harvested. They say, in 2008, NHTSA established a public-private partner. I'm reading a NHTSA report. In 2008, it established a public-private partnership with the Automotive Coalition for Traffic Safety, a nonprofit organization to develop technological solutions to address alcohol-impaired driving. The Driver Alcohol Detection System for Safety, or DADSS program, is a research-focused activity aimed to develop reference design. Well, I just lost a report.
Uh-oh.
But
whoopsie.
Yeah. But
it kind of throws into my head when I was researching this. Cuba's been on the news here lately. You know what Cuba does not have? Any cars after 1960.
Yeah.
None. And because after the revolution, they couldn't get parts, cars, anything. The mafia had brought all of those cars over there when that was the Hollywood and the casinos and the hotels, and that's where everybody went. And then when Castro took over, they got no new parts. Think about that. They got no new parts for even all those cars. And they've kept those vehicles running. That's what America's going to be like. There's going to be this huge underground of old cars and parts
trying to
get around this thing.
Right.
Because like Ian said, well, if you don't want to sign the agreement, don't buy the car. Well,
I pulled the report back on it. It says a research-focused activity aims to develop a reference design that can be licensed by other entities for 2 non-intrusive in-vehicle technologies, breath and touch sensors designed to detect passively when a driver's BAC exceeds the legal limit. So, and there's been some money dumped into this. I think I saw amount of 43 million so far, with another 100 million, pretty much in the pipe to develop these sort of technologies. So, I do think it's going to happen. I don't see it stopping. I think the way, BMW tried something, they kind of got themselves in a little bit of trouble when they tried to do this with their heated seats. Yeah.
How so?
They, people bought a BMW.
Right.
It had heated seats like, any other car, but then basically said you have to have a subscription.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And they basically, so the question is, do you really own the vehicle now?
Yeah.
If you're basically hiding the features behind certain things. So I think this whole movement to these cars being something that they were never intended to be.
Well, I think every technology is moving in that direction. Same thing with to bring it in like the video game space with the new Switch 2. You don't buy literally in the end user license agreement, by you opening the box and turning on the machine, you do not own the machine. You do not own any of the games you put on the machine. You are simply leasing it from Nintendo.
Wow.
The machine just gives you gives you the ability to access.
You don't have, again, once upon a time with the first Switch, you used to be able to put like a little memory card in the machine, and that was like your physical copy of the game. Now, like, they have those, but the thing is, whenever you put that into the Switch 2, you still have to go onto the eShop and download the game, and then the chip just allows you to run the game on the machine, but you still don't own it. Like,
so you're streaming gameplay basically is what you're doing.
So you don't, again,
for $5.99 a month, you can play.
And again, when you purchase it and you have it, but again, like, if at any point in time, again, in the end user license agreement, like, again, they have the rights to remove anything off of the Switch 2 if they want to. So if you put anything on there that doesn't belong on there, or however you work around it, you do an update, they have the rights to like remove stuff off of your Switch 2. And how
much does a Switch 2 cost?
$400, $500, whatever.
And you don't own it.
And you don't own it. And that's what I'm saying is, like, who's to say that this technology as well, again, in your car, again, by you owning a new car, you therefore, like, on your end, like, you don't own certain features of the car.
The box does, it gives you the ability to access the data.
Once upon a time, when on the iPhone, I don't know if you guys remember this, it was over a decade ago at this point, the iPhones came preloaded and downloaded with a U2 album on it.
Yes.
Yeah, on the iTunes store. And again, by you purchasing an iPhone and by you downloading iTunes on the phone in some capacity.
You2 gave it all for free.
Right.
But people, every time Miranda got in her truck, that stupid album would start playing
because it was
irritating.
It was automatically downloaded on everyone's phone. And the problem, the frustration that people had was they were like, I don't want to take up my hard drive space with this album, but it's automatic. Well, yeah, exactly. And that was the thing, is that by you downloading iTunes, you have you as the end user license agreement, the EULA, you have given up your I don't say give up your rights, but like you have therefore said it is okay for them to be able to put whatever they want to or to automatically download. And so again, whenever you want to combat that, again, you can't really, because that's you have signed this agreement that like there's no way you can work around it. That just is what it is.
But think about this.
Yeah,
Then what's that next step to this?
Yeah.
Over the air software updates.
Right.
So now that's going to, because you sign on, it's going to allow manufacturers to change vehicle behavior after the sale.
Mm-hmm.
They can improve safety, patch cyber flaws, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
But they also give manufacturers ongoing software control over the vehicle functions, features, and algorithms.
Right.
So while you're driving, they can change something.
Right. And that was the only thing I was curious about is I don't know about newer vehicles if they do have some sort of like hidden EULA that you don't realize, and just by purchasing the car, you therefore sign the document that. So I'm not sure if, like, for instance, BMW, like if they have some sort of like, you purchased the car, but you don't purchase the features.
They tried it. They got a lot of pushback. They backed off, but now they're coming back with it. And that's usually how this stuff works. They put it out there. There's an uproar.
Yeah.
And as typically as human beings are, we only maintain that sort of, we're on it for a little while, and then other things get our attention, and you kind of move on with life, and then little by little, they slowly.
Oh, I'm sorry, your high beams are underneath BMW Premium. You can't use.
I mean that's
actually law.
No.
I mean that's where this is going right now. So
the city they said they're coming out with these what do you call these vehicles with the ass ends down? Shoot.
Just like jacked up trucks and stuff.
Yeah, but it's the back way.
Well, I know the one. It used to be the old low riders, but now it's only one side.
It's only the back end. It's called something. I forgot what it's called. They said that they're going to be towed off, but they also said in the same sentence that this ordinance, it's against the law to do this. You actually can't. It's federal law. You can't change any vehicle from the way it comes off of the assembly line. Okay. That's law. You can't change the headlights. You can't these tires that extend 2, 3, 4 inches past the fenders. That's all illegal.
Interesting.
It's all illegal. But they also said that they're going to come out, and all these women that should not be wearing yoga pants, they're going to start writing them tickets too. Okay. So it was all in the same briefing about the squatted trucks. Squatted trucks.
Okay.
Yep. But think about this. What did the John Deere thing establish? The right to repair, right? That is, we should have that right to repair. And if these mandatory systems now can only be affected by, the dealer.
They want the dealers now involved with pretty much the life of the vehicle. That's where they're going. And literally when it gets to a point where it's all computer, I mean, the age of the mechanic will go away. I mean, other than working on older cars, but I mean, the reality is time goes on.
You see, I kind of saw something like this coming back in the 80s. I had gone to another state. I'm going to leave that out because I don't want accidentally this person being blasted. But it was a high official at the Ford Motor Company.
Okay.
And they took me to the assembly factory where the new Thunderbird, remember the Thunderbird was big, then they had the medium one. Then in the 80s, they had the small Thunderbird coming out.
Right.
And we put the little hat on and the little coats, and it was a fun little adventure to go see this manufacturing process of how they built these cars on the assembly line. And he asked me, he said, how do you think we're going to make money on these cars, selling them so cheap? And he said, why do you think we made this car? And I says, I don't know. Educate me, please. And he said, this is the mid 80s. He said, now we have women that have all of this money because they're working, their pay is increasing. He said, this is where we're going to make our money. We're going to sell it cheap. And he told me, he looked me in the eye and said this. We talk about planned obsolescence. Mm-hmm. This was probably one of the first examples in the automotive industry. He said, all of these plastics in this vehicle are designed to break 6 to 10 months after the warranty goes out. And he said, now think about it. if your car breaks, where are you going to take it? I'm going to take it to my buddy around the corner, and he's going to fix it for me. He said, where is a woman going to take the vehicle? Back to the dealer. He said, that's where we'll make our money on this car. Planned obsolescence, forcing people to go back to basically a whole demographic, the female, because they don't know a shade tree mechanic. They're going to take it back to the dealer, right? And this is the same thing. You're going to have to take it back to the dealer, and you do not have the right to repair anymore. What are you going to do?
Well, I just think people are just going to I think people just simply adapt, and they'll come to accept. I mean, right now, if you look at the age groups where younger people are used to subscription-based models, and so as I hate to say it, I mean, Stoney, as you and I age out, and the younger people coming up, I think it's just going to be, well, that's just the way it is. I mean, we pay subscriptions for everything else. Why not car stuff? And I think there's kind of a subtle brainwashing going on that it just sneaks up on you, and all of a sudden you wake up and that's just your new world you live in.
Yeah, but you also have to go to who owns these car manufacturers now. This, again, is your BlackRock, State Street, and Vanguard, who said you won't own anything.
Well,
they're basically gearing us to lease a car for the rest of our life, and they take our information, sell our information.
And there is a push for it now. I can tell you, I've heard a lot of people when they go into these dealerships, they're pushing leases.
Mm-hmm.
They're pushing leases.
Yes, because they don't want you to own anything.
Well, because
ownership is freedom.
And I'm going to tell you, for a lot of people, it's an affordable way of getting a car.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. If I can't, I mean, I know how much money I paid for this car that I just bought.
Have you seen what leases are today? It ain't that affordable.
Yeah, but
when they first started the lease programs, it was affordable, but it's not anymore.
But it's a lot.
It's a house payment.
But it's a lot cheaper than buying a new car. Yeah. I mean, it just is. I mean, we're basically now a new car is pretty much you're going to be around $50,000. Mm-hmm. It's just what it is. Yeah. A lease is going to be a lot cheaper than that to do. Yeah. I mean, it just even if you got to put down $10,000.
Yeah.
And then whatever your month.
How many years did you keep your car after you paid it off?
Oh, well.
Do the math. You lease a car for the 15 years that you own that car is going to be more expensive than you buying that car.
I bought the last car I had, I bought that in 2013. Wow. And I just turned it over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so 4 years to pay it, 5 years to pay it, whatever it is.
And then I had no car note for all those years.
Okay, so now, but see, you lease a car, you still have that note. So the math don't add up.
But there's a lot of people that want a new car every 3 years.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I've known people like that. They constantly are getting a new car. Every time I turn around, it's like, oh, I got tired of the other one.
Of course you did.
But, I'm telling you, it's this is disturbing, but look, I'm looking at a poll right here. In 2021, an Ipsos poll for MAD found that 89% said built-in drunk driving prevention tech was a good idea, and 77% backed federal action requiring it in all new vehicles. Not only that, a AAA survey found 67% support requiring alcohol impaired prevention technology in all new cars.
Okay, but that could be a sensor that detects alcohol in the air of the vehicle.
Correct.
Okay, it's not facial recognition. It's not a camera on your face. It's not looking at your eyes dilated. Right. That's a whole nother scheme, a whole nother level. I can go with the alcohol detection system.
Right.
Even if it's pervasive, if it's inside, you don't even know it's there.
Right.
I'm fine with that. But what happens if your buddy next door is drunk?
Well,
what if your passenger is drunk?
That's where it gets kind of. That's where the tech would have to determine those kind of things. I don't know. I get it. I understand because, I mean, you get somebody that's inebriated in your vehicle, the alcohol vapors are everywhere in your car. Now your car's not going anywhere. So I don't know what the fix is. And that's the problem. Even NHTSA admits that right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, even if they can get the tech down where it detects 99%, mm-hmm. considering that there's like 270 million trips taken mm-hmm. in the United States, even if just 1% there's a failure rate there, that's a lot of people getting inconvenienced.
Yes.
Yeah. So I get it. Look, even they realize the tech is not there, even though the legislation's in place. But I don't think they're there yet right now. So that's kind of what I've heard. I know 2027. I think what people are I think the big news is these kill switches. I think that's where, and I don't even know if my car may even have it in there.
Okay, it's for drunk driving, but I tell you what, let's make it to where the police can end these high-speed chases too. Everybody's scared of that. You should be for police ending high-speed chases. So let's make it to where the government, federal, state, parish and county and city police can come in and kill the car right there.
Well,
how far away are you from? You don't say what we want you to say, and you can't use your car no more.
I get it, but as I said, I think of some of those pursuits that have lately have been in the news where it's ended in tragedy for an innocent person. I'm kind of like,
and that's why you were saying initially, like towards the beginning of this whole situation, you were saying that like I think this is here to stay. Because obviously the implication, even if all this is hidden, fine print stuff, the problem or the big thing is that the name is to prevent drunk driving. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. So if you are against this, you're against that, you're a bad person. That's the hard part. Is like now again, even if it's just this thinly veiled truth of like, yes, it is going to help prevent impairment and drunk drivers, with a caveat of also probably inconveniencing a lot of people. Again, that's still the big ticket item. It's like it's hard to fight against that.
I think
the same thing with that, with what Stoney just said about how wouldn't you like to have some way of stopping a high pursuit chase? Whenever you say it like that, yes, I would. I would like for a police officer to be able to stop a person who is causing a reckless endangerment of innocent civilians and possibly public property of some kind. I would love that. But again, we've talked about this with the surveillance state. There's an implication of that though, that once you allow that, then that's when it's a slippery slope. So like if it's hard, like you can't have one without the other, where you're right. If all of a sudden the government decided that, Ian can't drive today, I would be very upset with that, even if I wasn't breaking the law or whatever. Or like the situation that Stoney has said, I'm a little bit frustrated or aggravated or whatever.
Y'all remember when the black boxes first came out of vehicles? Mm-hmm. Okay, they record your driving habits, but people were so scared of that information going out. Jason, how long are those recordings now? Do you know that?
I don't remember how long.
Isn't it like 3 minutes or the last 5 minutes or something like that?
They may have changed. Back when they first came out, it was, it was 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes, whatever it was.
But that's how far people were scared at that time that their information would be used against them. Mm-hmm. But now everything is used against you.
Right.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's Ford Motor Company, Toyota, GM. I believe they all have patents right now on biometric data right now at the patent office. So Ford has developed, they're kind of leading the charge on this, a lot of, on this kind of tech. So I do believe that.
Yeah, but see, that's funny because Ford has gotten rid of all their passenger vehicles.
I know.
Okay, why would Ford be leading this? They got even their Mustang is no longer a passenger car. It's a small SUV. I mean, why would they need to be leading this?
Yeah. That's something else.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to look up something regarding that issue. Here it is. They got a patent here. It said this patent focuses on monitoring the driver's state of attentiveness using eye tracking, gaze direction, behavioral analysis, passenger interactions, interior sensors, and external road and environmental data. And then basically the system could determine whether a driver's distracted, adjust attentiveness thresholds, initiate vehicle actions, and continuously analyze driver behavior using machine learning.
AI.
Yeah. That's
I looked it up if I can interject. Current black boxes in cars, officially known as EDRs, event data recorders.
that's it. Yep.
Continuously record in a loop, but they typically only save the 5 to 20 seconds before a crash and a few
There it
seconds
is.
after.
Really?
Right.
Wow.
So what it enables
How if you're
Invest-
speeding, and
invest-
how you're braking.
Yeah.
investigators, when it just gives you some insights. I do remember when that
Yeah.
first, and the ability to download that data. I remember it was all kind of.
And you had to do it before it corrupted or went away.
Yeah,
or
they've gotten a lot better now with that stuff.
if the dumbass tow truck driver started the vehicle again, it started the loop over again. I mean, you had to certain criteria you had to meet. And no, not all truck drivers. I mean, tow truck drivers are dumbasses.
Right.
But I have met one or two of them.
Yeah, so Ford stated the purpose was improving voice command reliability in noisy environments, not surveillance. But critics argue the capability dramatically expands how much vehicle could potentially observe inside the cabin. So this is what's happening. It's not so much that your car is collecting all this data now. It's this data is being sold. And can you imagine in not so in a not so distant future where a car is equipped with all these cameras and sensors and now police have access, can type in, and boom, now they can see inside your vehicle.
But take it the next step. Where did you go today? All this is GPS based.
Oh yeah.
So now advertisers are going to know, where did they stop? Ooh, sell us that information. How many times did they, hey baby, did they go to the Burlington and the Rosses and the Marshalls? How many times are they going here? What stores are they going to? What time are they going to stores? How long are they staying in these stores?
Oh yeah.
Do they go when it's raining?
Developing patterns.
Okay, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
People do
all
that
that
already.
information is going to be sold.
People do that already with freaking Life 360. They
Absolutely.
willingly give that to their
we talked about that on another episode.
parents and friends, and I'm like, I mean, maybe I don't do anything shady, but like, I don't want everyone to know my constant location.
Well,
all the time.
if you think about it as a parent,
yeah,
my kid is now able to drive, and
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
out there. You don't think maybe a parent would want to
yeah.
know what my kid is doing?
yeah.
This gives
We
it-
survived without somebody knowing what
but-
we were
but-
doing.
I know. I survived without that.
But there was nothing like that at that
Yes.
time, so that the even the thought was not even there. There's a lot of things that people did.
Oh yeah.
I mean, what people did back then, everybody would be banned. Nobody
Yes.
could do anything. But I can see how a parent would, especially considering how high insurance rates are. And, the insurance industry is driving a lot of this,
Oh,
too.
yeah.
There's a huge amount of input from them.
Well, they want to find ways not to pay these
they
claims off.
want to minimize the risk.
They don't want to cut the price, the insurance payments every month, but they want to stop paying it. They want to find it, and that's why I've said for years and years, I think I've even mentioned it on this show, the American citizens are the only people on this planet that pay insurance for somebody else's vehicle.
Right, talking about like
Okay.
the uninsured,
The uninsured, even
uninsured, and
your payment every month, whether you have uninsured motorist, has nothing to do with your vehicle. It has to do with somebody else's.
Right.
That's why in other parts of the world, dash cams are so important, because you're paying for your vehicle. That's it. Win, lose, or draw, you're paying to insure your vehicle. Now, if you're proven to be at fault, they may not pay as much. So you want to prove it's somebody else's fault so that the insurance company will maximize payment on your vehicle. So if I can only afford a 1974 Pinto, somebody else, the lawyer down the road, can afford that McLaren, and he hits me, I'm not paying for his vehicle, I'm paying for mine. He's paying for his. And that would drive the insurance rates so low, it would be ridiculous.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're in the insurance world, if you can control risk down to zero,
Hallelujah, that's great.
You can. Sure, I'll write you a policy because I'm not going to be exposed to anything. I mean, so yeah, of course.
I mean, this is we're in, man. It's crazy to think the position that we're in now, where they're using drunk driving. I mean, how can you not be for stopping drunk driving?
Mm-hmm.
But to lose all of our freedoms, controls, and privacy to do that. I mean, why aren't they so? Like I said earlier, did I say it in the show or pre-show when twice as many people are being killed by illegal immigrants, but they don't want to do anything about that. Why pick this one? Because it's something they control, and they know technology 20, 30 years down the road is where they want to get into the control factor.
Also,
this just starts it.
And that's also not a hot button topic either. You know, you don't want to talk about immigration because that's going to, we can't fix that problem,
Oh, yes, we can.
Well, I know you're not hearing me. You're hearing me, but you're not hearing me.
It's like I tell people,
we can fix it, but like the problem is that like there are sides to this, and there are a bunch of people and a lot of money involved that we can never quote unquote fix that problem.
I have a saying, and I'm going to say it here, and I know that our getoffended@gmail.com is going to come out. I can fix stupid, but it's going to hurt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we can fix this problem.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like again, there's a lot of stuff tied up with that situation with immigration stuff.
Yeah.
But one thing we can get everyone on board with, and then again we can wrap up this package and with a bunch of fluff and filler and all the other stuff is like, oh, drunk driving's bad, right? Everyone's like, well,
that's
yes.
how they get you, because who's not against drunk
Of
driving?
course.
But am I willing to be against it so far? It's like the gun thing.
Right.
Everybody is against murder. But do I want to give up my rights to have a gun to stop somebody that, like you said earlier, shouldn't be driving, shouldn't be having a gun either?
Right.
My rights aren't worth that.
Yeah, I get that. I do think that there's probably some sort of a middle ground to reach with this, but that's, that we're not going to get. We're not going to get there. It's just going to be put in place, and that's just going to be reality now, I guess, which is unfortunate. But
well, as I said, I think this subscription-based stuff. I think
that's a whole nother thing. You want to use auto start subscription? Remember when it was just the satellite radio?
Oh yeah,
and you had to pay a monthly or yearly thing to have Sirius or XM radio.
Yeah.
Yep.
And now you want the heated seats subscription, and they're all different. Or we'll package it together for you.
Well, all this is tied into the same tech of what they're trying to do. Just kind of for our listeners out there, what BMW tried to do, through its functions on demand system, BMW offered subscriptions for heated seats, heated steering wheels, adaptive cruise control, high beam assist, and other software-activated features. They say in some countries, drivers could pay roughly $18 a month, yearly plans, or a one-time unlock fee for heated seats already built into the car. But, people, there was a big backlash on it, and they backed off. So in 2023, they abandoned that, and but they did not abandon subscriptions entirely. They said they clarified it still supports subscription-based services for driver assistance systems, which is what this stuff we're talking about is, parking assistance, cloud-connected services, and other software-based upgrades requiring ongoing data infrastructure. And I'm going to tell you, when I bought my car, with just the infotainment system in that car, I had to buy the warranty to be able to fix if that goes
yeah.
out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's where it's going. Now even insurance companies are going to be requiring you to get those warranties from the dealer that offer to replace that. See how that marriage between the two, which cars have become basically like iPhones. That's what they are.
But that's what I was bringing up with all the EULA stuff. Like I wonder if that's some sort of hidden thing that is in the paperwork you sign whenever you purchase the vehicle now that you just are unaware. Again, you just, like we've talked about before, you just check the box, I agree to the terms and conditions, and you submit it. Is that part of that documentation now? We're like in the fine print there. It's like, oh yeah, well,
Nobody ever reads the fine
no,
print.
of course
do they?
not. You just click and pray.
So much.
Did you read everything when you signed for your
Oh,
vehicle?
no.
Of course not.
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Right, but
I
that's
mean,
the thing is, like, I wonder, like, if they're able
it's-
to hide features in there because of that.
I'm sure that I just no doubt in my mind now.
They do in your phone.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
They do in these
They
new
do,
computers. What do you think Windows 11 is all about?
Again, you could buy a new Switch too, and you don't own any of it. Technically, legally, quote unquote, allegedly, whatever.
That's just crazy. I didn't know that about that. But that's interesting.
Look, that's a lot of backlash with that console specifically. I have one of the older Switches, the original one, and even some of that had some stuff. But like they just like with Disney Plus, and they're like pushing a lot of stuff in like the streaming department. The poster child for it in the gaming world is Nintendo. They're like. They're really hard on like you don't own anything, and if they suspect that you're tampering with it, or if you're doing anything to the actual console, or that you're getting games that you shouldn't, they have the ability to like brick the console, which means that making it basically inaccessible, like not usable. So like there are people that again tried to like upon the first few weeks of having their Switch 2 tried to kind of finick around with it and get it working up, and the hardware was able to figure that out, and of course like make the console not work anymore.
Wow.
Like software wise, they won't boot up anymore, won't do anything, because again they're like, well, you actually don't have the rights to like tamper with this stuff. So again, like it kind of starts bringing into question, maintenance on it and fixing it, and how do you go about doing that? And it's just all that kind of stuff too, where it's like you dig into it, and it kind of it's like a bit of a rabbit hole. But once you start learning about it, you're like, oh, like Nintendo's like awful, really. And so
look at the car manufacturers filing suit with that.
Well, I'm looking at here in this NHTSA report. I find this interesting because there's also, I think there's some things that's supposed to happen in 2030.
Okay.
With these cars, but it said recently the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety announced it will include vehicle features that address risky behaviors, such as impaired driving, in its top safety pick plus award criteria by 2030. So NHTSA is also considering an approach to include information on vehicles that adopt impaired driving prevention technology in the new car assessment program. So there you're starting to lay the groundwork for, getting recognized and stuff like that. So
I got a question for y'all. I want to go a little different route on this. I'm looking at both of y'all right now. My eyes are uncrossed the other way. Has anybody ever been late on a bill? One time.
Yeah.
Have you ever been late on a bill?
Yeah.
What happens when you're late on your brake subscription?
Okay.
Or your air conditioning subscription?
I can definitely see air conditioning.
You see what I'm saying? What happens when you're, oh man, I was a little light on cash this month and blah, I couldn't pay that subscription. Now what do you do?
Now you're going to have to juggle car subscriptions in addition to your utility bill of your house.
Remember, these new predator lenders would put the kill switches on cars that if you the minute you were late on your loan payment, the car was not startable. Y'all remember that, right? I mean, this is the next step. Now that you don't pay your subscription, can you start your car?
Just gonna pirate it. Just pirate it.
But if they're like the Switch, they're just going to brick your car, and you won't be able to do anything with it.
Yeah, I don't really know how. I think this is going to be I think it's just going to be one of these things that people are just going to. I hate to say it, you're going to have an element of people that will, raise all kind of alarms, but I think the vast majority of people are just going to roll with it.
I think y'all need to watch Demolition Man again, because all of this is in that movie.
Oh,
all of this.
I remember the movie quite well.
That it's amazing that movie is just like the Simpsons on predicting the future.
Wesley Snipes and Sylvester Stallone.
Yep. That's an insane. When in today's society, when you look back at that movie, you're like, we ain't that far from that. especially with Taco Bell winning the restaurant
the
wars.
franchise wars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they're winning right now.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord. If I had just eat a Taco Bell, I'd be like, oh, good Lord. I don't eat a Taco Bell anymore. I ate enough of it when I was younger, but I don't eat a Taco Bell
So
anymore.
you ate fast food at one time.
Yeah.
Right.
You just don't anymore.
I don't anymore. I can't tell you the last time I even went to a fast food restaurant. I don't even remember. That's how.
That's amazing, though. That's good.
I don't. I mean, now, maybe on vacation, if you're on the road, you may stop at a Burger King or a Wendy's or whatever the case may be.
But you haven't even done that.
I can't tell. That's what I'm saying. I don't even remember the last time I went to a fast food restaurant.
It's not worth it anymore. It's so expensive.
And have you the fillet of fish? Miranda and I went to Mississippi this last weekend, and we stopped and got a fillet of fish, and it was the size of this mouse.
Get out, little tiny guy.
And it was twice as much as these meals are crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
It was nothing. It was 3 bites for me.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
3 bites. Right. Couldn't believe it.
I think that anyways, a couple times that I have gone to like a fast food place, I'm like, man, because a lot of times I'll buy for 2 people, for Maya and myself. In the process of like, they'll tell me my total. I'm like, I beg your pardon. How much
you could have went to a sit down restaurant.
I was like, actually, let's go sit down. And probably had better food anyways. But one thing I have been doing recently is going to the grocery store a lot more. Actually, like, even though groceries are still kind of expensive, I've still been like, buying things to like prep a little bit. So
speaking of buying things, have you bought some chocolate chip cookie ingredients?
I haven't.
I don't think we'll ever get there.
We'll never get it again.
You will. Maya's sister specifically asked for some as well, and I was like, let me see what I can.
What do you like?
We're asking too.
Okay.
What do you like to cook when you do cook?
I like chicken a lot. All kinds of forms of chicken or putting chicken in stuff. Pasta is something that I've always been pretty good at making. I feel like different pasta type dishes and sauces and meats and stuff that go into it. Recently, I tried my hand at like a shepherd's pie. Like I had some nice lamb and I did the whole 9 yards and it was actually really nice.
Oh, that's nice.
Stuff like that. Stuff that's is like big enough that like again I could stash away and have a couple days out the week or whatever. It's been helping. You got to get that cost per meal down. Exactly what I'm saying. Yeah.
So you can get one of those vacuum sealers and freeze it. And
Again, my roommate recently with his tax return was like, I want to buy myself a really nice air fryer. Is that cool? And I was like, of course. So I like cleaned off a little section on the side of the counter. We got a nice like little dual bay air fryer. So I've been trying my hand at some frozen stuff you can get that you can air fry.
Miranda and I love our air fryers. We have 2 of them. We don't have the fancy double. We got 2 of them. So.
Like I said, he wanted to get, he had his tax return and he's like, I'm not planning on spending on anything else except for, he put some money aside for himself, but then he's like, I want to buy us a nice air fryer. So anyways, it's been nice to try that out. So
air fryers are nice.
It's pretty fun.
They are.
I like it. It's a cool technology.
A lot better than microwaves are.
Yeah.
I'm so against microwaves. It's just we freeze some stuff.
Yeah.
And I would rather take that vacuum sealed package and put it in a pot of boiling water.
Yes. Right.
Than anything.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine, not to get off the subject of these crazy cars, but I always wonder, frozen rib. I made some amazing ribs, big racks of ribs, and you just can't heat them up right.
Okay.
And my buddy, his family owned a restaurant, and it was a seafood restaurant. And he goes, what we're going to do is we're going to take those and put them in these vacuum seal bags, squirt some barbecue sauce down each side, seal it up with 2 seals, and freeze it.
Yeah.
And seafood place always has boiling water.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And you drop it in there for a couple of minutes, and it comes out so perfect, like it came off the grill. But you couldn't microwave it like that.
No, definitely not.
Because microwaving actually vibrates the water molecules and heats them up.
Yeah.
It destroys the meat.
Tough.
But these ribs came off just, oh my gosh.
Have you ever tried sous vide?
Yes, we have 2 sous vides. Yep. And that's the best way. Yeah. We like to do a reverse sear on the steak.
I think you told me about this before.
It's the best way to make. You get the temperature where you want it in the sous vide, and then pop it on that cast iron skillet that's glowing so hot that it's red. 1 minute on each side where it releases, and it's perfect.
Wow, that sounds good.
That'd be an
kidding.
episode.
I'm
We could
g-
do a
I'm-
reverse
hey,
sear steak
I'm telling you.
episode.
I'm looking for some ideas for but yeah. But anyways,
But this is crazy. I just see it as
yeah.
another way to lose our freedoms.
Mhm.
And I know I harp on that, but if I don't say it,
Yeah.
they're going to think, oh, well, look, there's no resistance. Let's just take
Mhm.
it.
I think the more technologically we advance, I think it's inevitable that to participate in the modern world
Mm-hmm.
is going to require giving up, I think, freedoms that at one time we cherished.
Yeah.
That was a given.
Yep.
And
I agree with that.
I don't see how you get out of it. I really don't. I mean, short of you going and living in the frontier in some woods in the middle
yeah.
of Iowa or Montana
Mhm.
where you're not,
I was thinking about this as well. Like there was a point in time where like before forensics was like a thing, like people could get away with a lot of crime. I feel like, or like can get away with a lot of stuff because it was like we weren't as connected. We didn't have like forensic data to go off of, and like some things could kind of get. And what I'm saying with that is like again, there it gets to a point where like technology and more information is better, and how you can potentially like track down certain things and.
Well, forensics is information.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
And now everything is
There's
information.
a point where it's like,
Yeah.
where there's a point where it's a net good, and there's like, but then again, obviously, there's a point where like you start losing anonymity across the board,
Mhm.
and then that's what I'm saying. It's like there's some aspects of this that is nice because it's more data. It's it can stop people from potentially making a bad decision, but making it for them in some way, which is like I guess in some cases is good, but then like I said before. In the process of like getting more information, in the process of getting more technology, what is being lost in the process, all that. I feel like there's a lot of that with social media as well. Like everyone was so gung ho about like everyone's connected, everything's all connected, everything's all together. We can know the world's history at the tip of our fingers, which is like it was so cool and it's so interesting and awesome. But like now it gets to a point now where it's like I feel like. More than ever, people know, I think, way too much.
Mhm.
Like we shouldn't have to worry about. There's stuff that it's that kind of stuff where it's like there's like this,
the AI race.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And what that's going to do, it's inevitably going to shrink the world,
Mhm.
and it's just going to stop. I think it's like anything. Like we use the example of the police pursuit in a car potentially driving dangerously.
Yes.
Wouldn't it be nice? Now I was thinking about ways in which a police, an officer, could, in essence, electronically stop a car if that technology ever evolved to a point where you could do it. I could see why. I mean, you're already going to have the plate.
Yeah.
So you can easily probably. I'm just thinking of way. Hey, call a judge. Look, we're in pursuit of a vehicle. This is the plate number.
Right. Shut it down.
Can we to shut it down and do it like that?
Right. Or again, if there's so much technology in it, is there some way you could do like I don't know if you could do a localized or a controlled like EMP, like some sort of
Well, I think
pulse
there's
that could,
already there are tools that they can shoot at a car and disrupt its electrical system and shut it down that way.
Interesting.
That stuff already exists.
Because that would be.
I don't know how many agencies have that kind of tech.
Yeah.
That's kind of high end.
I'd
And
imagine,
probably very expensive.
Probably very expensive
to do it. Plus, you would have to be able to get fast enough and follow the car and get up on the car and actually shoot the car and do that. So I think the ability to just simply remote into the vehicle and just simply, I mean, I could see this. You're being pursued, and all of a sudden, this criminal's all of a sudden hears a voice in the car saying, "Hey, this is blah blah blah." You shut down, or the vehicle's going to be shut down
and locked.
Locked. I mean, I can see the benefits of that. I really could, and but it's like anything with any tech. It's how it's used. unfortunately, I think it can also be used for bad. And we kind of saw that with, now with social media, with all these now, permissions. And if you offend this person, they ban you. Lord, I've been banned on a few things.
Well,
on
it's
some
the
comments
China
I
social
made.
score. It's the China social score, and it's going to be your whole life, and it's going to be tied to your chip in your hand, the car that you no longer own that you lease with a subscription service.
Right. Because that's where it's going. Because if they're going to be integrating all this tech in these vehicles, I mean, I definitely can see. I can see how that could easily just become part of the standard.
Oh yeah,
standard deal. When you go buy a car, okay, we'll give you the first year
okay,
subscription. All this stuff, and then it's up to you after that point to maintain it or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I mean, there right now is patents pending for a lot of these things. So
I wish that I had this information when we did the episode on the data centers.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen Louisiana Senator Jay Morris?
Uh-oh.
Have we seen what he's done?
No.
He mixed his official legislative work with personal interest real estate deals near the Meta's $27 billion artificial intelligence center in Richland Parish. He bought parcels of land near the site and subsequently sold adjacent land to Energy for the power plant, sparking scrutiny.
Yep.
So they bought, in a 5-mile radius, they bought an 80-acre plot across the street for parking and the power plant.
Of course.
Yeah, magically. But his stance is, I haven't done anything wrong. My holdings are there. Well, when you know something's coming, and you buy it, it's like, Nancy Pelosi saying insider trading's for everybody. Why isn't everybody doing it? It's not illegal.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
This guy should get hammered and put in jail. I'm sorry, but this is crazy. He asserts his land holdings are public record, and he did not draft the LED bills, so therefore his actions don't constitute any ethical problems.
Okay, I love that. Got to cover your tracks.
But he knew they were coming.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's actually he's been in a lot of in the news lately with just everything else, some of the other things going on right now in Louisiana. But I mean, look, the AI data centers we're building Skynet. We don't know it.
That's what I've said that how many times?
We don't know it yet.
We're doing it.
We're building the skeleton right now for what eventually will be
Skynet.
Whatever it will be called.
Oh yeah.
At that point,
They just need to go ahead and call it Skynet now. Stop calling it all this other crap and just name it
Everyone
Skynet.
wants to be
Just for the irony of it all. Anyway,
who created those movies? Was it Cameron?
I think so. I don't know.
Who created the Terminator movies? Something Cameron, I think. I can't think of his name now. I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, James Cameron.
Yeah. Actually, he said before they filmed the first Terminator, he actually had people in the high levels of the government that he had some access to talk about tech and stuff that's coming. And he made a movie, and it's lo and behold, it's true. It's funny how all that works out, but yeah.
Well, they use movies as part of the CIA.
Yeah.
Hollywood and the CIA have been working hand in hand for decades and decades to release stuff and get us kind of prepared for things.
I think
this is just the latest.
I think I think all of it. It's so funny how so many things are happening right now with these AI data centers now seem to be popping up everywhere. You got the UFO disclosure stuff going on right now. There's a movie fixing to be coming out. Steven Spielberg's Disclosure is coming out. I'm just telling you, things are moving rapidly right now. They really are. They're moving rapidly right now.
I wonder if the fourth turning? What is it called? The
fourth turning.
The fourth turning is coming for us.
Well, some say we are right now in it.
That's kind of what I'm asking. Is are we in it right now? Because
I think we are.
This is crazy.
I think all the cues that at least the authors who came up with this kind of structure, this pattern here, that everything that they say we're right now in the complete loss and trust of institutions. I think something is going to collapse and something new is going to come out of it. And that I think the new stuff is AI. I think it's a completely different way of viewing the world, how the world will operate. I think that's what's going to come out of the ashes. I really do.
That sounds like Demolition Man.
Yeah. Well, I think
because that's what happened. The world collapsed, and a couple of these big cities popped up, and we just got to see one city.
I'm trying to remember in that movie what was caused the collapse. I think it was a giant earthquake
I don't remember, but
in California,
something happened,
and it buried the old city, and then the new city was built on top of it. But I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot going on. I think you I mean, just kind of talking about all these things. I mean, what happened in Venezuela with the directed energy weapons and all this UFO stuff, and now people coming out that now there's people out there that know that we've had 0 point energy now for for a while, but they can't let that stuff go because we completely collapse the world economy. If basically anybody can just generate energy. So interesting times. I tell people, pay attention to these vehicles. If you're in the market for a new vehicle,
be careful.
You may want to hang on to your car if the technology doesn't scare you.
Who knows?
Jump in and we'll see where it goes.
Yes. Let us know what you think. We have comment sections on YouTube and Spotify where you can leave some more short form responses. We also have an email address, like Stoney had said earlier, getoffendedtogether@gmail.com, where you can send some more long form responses if the comment sections won't fit all your feelings in there. Be sure to like and subscribe where you can. We're on all the major podcasting platforms. You can find us anywhere. Share it with someone that you think would either like it or maybe not like it. We would really appreciate that. And until next week, thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.
Goodbye, everyone, and God bless.
There is something deeply American about the automobile. Not because cars are perfect. They are expensive, they break down, they eat gas, they throw warning lights at the worst possible time, and somehow the check engine light always knows when your bank account is low. But the car has always represented movement, freedom, escape, work, family, independence. That first car meant that you could go somewhere without asking. The road trip meant the world was bigger than your neighborhood. That old truck meant your grandfather could fix almost anything with a wrench, bad attitude, duct tape, and some safety wire, and 3 words that you were not allowed to repeat in church. But the car is changing now, not just mechanically, philosophically. It's becoming connected, monitored, updated, scored, restricted, and monetized. And the danger is not that every new feature is evil. The danger is that the meaning of ownership is being rewritten while most people are distracted by bigger screens and cooler apps. One generation bought cars. The next generation leased them. The next generation subscribed to them. And somewhere in that shift, we have to ask, what are we giving up? Because a car that watches you, charges you, scores you, updates around you, locks features behind software that is not just transportation. It's a relationship, and it's not always an equal one. The road used to mean freedom. The question is now whether freedom comes standard or whether it's part of the premium package. Thanks for hanging out with us today. You're the best. Peace.